John stared at his phone. 42 years old, software engineer from Denver. 3 dating apps glowed on his screen. 15 months of swiping, over $15,000 gone, international trips, premium features, endless first dates that went nowhere. He pressed delete, one by one. But here's the crazy part. John isn't alone. Right now, men across America are making this same quiet choice. They're walking away from dating completely, not because they're angry or bitter, because they're exhausted. And what nobody saw coming? They're happier than they've been in years. Today we're breaking down why this is happening. What's pushing men to choose being alone over finding someone? And why are they finding peace in something society says should destroy them? Stick around, because what you're about to learn might change how you see modern dating forever. The money trap that's bleeding men dry. Let's start with John's breaking point, because his story reveals something dark about dating that nobody talks about. After his divorce, John tried international dating. The promise seemed simple. Find someone who wanted a real relationship, not just hookups. What he found was a financial black hole. First trip to Thailand, $3,500. Flight, hotel, meals, gifts for her family. When she asked for money for an emergency, he sent $800. The relationship ended suddenly, so he tried again. Colombia this time. Another $4,200 trip, another woman who seemed perfect, until the money requests started. But here's what gets twisted. These weren't random expenses. They were carefully planned tests. Each request came with emotional blackmail. If you really loved me, you'd help. John started tracking his spending. Want to know what he found? Premium app subscriptions, $200 every month. Boost features to get noticed, another $150. International calling, translation apps, gift deliveries to different countries. Monthly total before he even bought a plane ticket, $600. Think about that. $600 a month just to talk to women he'd never met. The dating app industry runs on male frustration. Basic accounts show you beautiful women but won't let you message them. Premium features promise better matches but deliver the same disappointments. Men spend $50 to $200 monthly on app features alone, chasing an algorithm designed to keep them paying, not pairing. What John realized was shocking. Modern dating had become a subscription service with no end. Every interaction cost money. Every potential connection had hidden fees. International dating made it worse. Travel costs, hotels, entertainment, gifts, all sold as investments in love, but structured like a pyramid scheme. Here's the brutal truth. Many women weren't scammers, but the system rewarded them for asking men for money from day one. John's math was disturbing. In 15 months, he spent more on dating than his car payments, more than health insurance, more than retirement savings. He was literally paying for the privilege of being emotionally manipulated by strangers. The final straw? His latest match asked for $2,000 for a visa application. When he hesitated, she attacked his character. "You're not serious about our relationship." The manipulation was so obvious, something clicked. He wasn't investing in love. He was funding other people's lifestyles while destroying his own financial future. This creates a specific type of mental exhaustion. Every conversation becomes about money. Every emotional connection gets measured by what it costs. Men report feeling like ATMs with feelings. Their value gets reduced to their spending power. Their genuine desire for connection gets exploited by people who see dating as income, not relationship building. When John deleted those apps, he wasn't just saving money. He was refusing to participate in a system designed to profit from his loneliness. Your brain on dating apps, the hidden damage. But the money drain was just the surface. Underneath, John was experiencing something psychologists now call digital dating burnout. Here's what happens to your brain when you swipe through dating apps. Every profile triggers a split-second judgment. Hot or not, compatible or not, worth the risk or not. Your brain makes these decisions in milliseconds, hundreds of faces per session. This creates choice overload. Too many options break your decision-making ability. Instead of feeling empowered, you become paralyzed. John described it perfectly. "I'd swipe for an hour and accomplish nothing except wasting time." The apps exploit this using intermittent reinforcement, the same trick that makes gambling addictive. You get matched just often enough to keep swiping, but rarely enough to keep chasing that dopamine hit. Your brain starts craving the notification ping more than actual human connection. Dating apps also destroy natural attraction patterns. Normally, attraction builds slowly through shared experiences and emotional intimacy. Apps reverse this. You see someone's best photos first, form instant judgments, then try to force personality compatibility afterward. This backwards process creates phantom relationships. You develop feelings for people you've never met based on fake images and text messages. When reality doesn't match the fantasy, which it never does, disappointment becomes inevitable. John lived this cycle repeatedly. He'd spend weeks messaging someone, building elaborate fantasies about their future together. Then meet in person and feel nothing. The disconnect between digital chemistry and physical presence became emotionally exhausting. The apps also gamify rejection in psychologically damaging ways. Every unmatched profile becomes a personal attack. Every ghosted conversation feels like a character judgment. Men check their match counts like stock portfolios, measuring self-worth through algorithm feedback. This constant evaluation creates hypervigilance around dating performance. Instead of being present in conversations, you're analyzing every message for optimization opportunities. Spontaneity dies under the weight of strategic thinking. John noticed this shift. He started crafting messages like marketing copy, testing different approaches to maximize response rates. Dating became a data science project instead of an emotional experience. The humanity got lost in the optimization. But here's where it gets worse. John was simultaneously talking to 12 different women across 3 countries. Each conversation required emotional energy, cultural sensitivity, and memory management. He felt like a customer service rep for his own love life. This cognitive load creates decision fatigue that extends beyond dating. When your brain constantly evaluates romantic options, it has less capacity for other important decisions. Work performance suffers, friendships get neglected, personal hobbies disappear. The 6 months before John deleted the apps, he stopped enjoying activities he used to love. Reading, hiking, cooking, everything felt secondary to the endless scroll of potential connections. The apps hadn't just failed to provide companionship, they actively prevented him from enjoying solitude. The moment he deleted them, mental space opened up immediately. No more notification anxiety, no more profile optimization, no more emotional labor for strangers who might disappear tomorrow. His brain could finally rest. The manipulation playbook that breaks men. The cognitive overload was crushing. But what finally broke John wasn't the apps themselves, it was the people using them. Over 15 months, he encountered manipulation patterns so consistent they felt scripted. It always started the same way. Love bombing, intense attention, constant messages, declarations of deep connection within days of matching. I've never felt this way before. You're different from other men. I think you might be my soulmate. The emotional intensity felt incredible after months of superficial small talk. Then came the shift. Responses took longer. Enthusiasm cooled. The woman who couldn't stop texting suddenly became busy with work, family, life complications. John found himself working harder for the same attention he'd received effortlessly before. This is intermittent reinforcement, and it's psychologically devastating. Your brain becomes addicted to recapturing that initial high. You start analyzing every message for signs of renewed interest. You modify your behavior, hoping to trigger the love bombing phase again. John's Thailand experience showed this pattern perfectly. Maria showered him with affection during their first week of messaging. Voice notes, photos, videos of her daily life. She made him feel special, chosen, understood. When he arrived in Bangkok, she was attentive and loving. But something shifted after he sent the first $800 for her emergency. The gratitude felt fake. The affection became conditional. She started mentioning other financial pressures, her mother's medical bills, her brother's school fees, her business struggles. Each request came wrapped in emotional manipulation. I hate asking, but I have no one else. If you were in trouble, I'd help without question. This is really hard for me to ask. The requests weren't demands. They were guilt trips disguised as vulnerability. When John hesitated about sending more money, Maria changed completely. She became cold, distant, accusatory. I thought you cared about me. Maybe you're just like all the other men who only want one thing. I guess I was wrong about your character. This emotional whiplash, from worship to punishment, creates trauma bonds. Your nervous system becomes hypervigilant, constantly scanning for signs of approval or rejection. You start walking on eggshells, modifying your authentic self to avoid triggering another emotional withdrawal. John experienced this with multiple women across different countries. The scripts were remarkably similar. Initial love bombing, gradual cooling, financial requests, emotional punishment for boundaries. The pattern was so consistent, he started predicting the timeline. But here's what made it particularly damaging. These women weren't necessarily conscious manipulators. Many were genuinely struggling financially and had learned that emotional leverage worked with Western men. The manipulation felt authentic because in many cases, it was. The desperation was real, even if the romantic feelings weren't. This created a psychological trap for John. He wanted to be generous and supportive, but every act of kindness got weaponized against him. His empathy became a liability. His desire to help became a source of exploitation. The emotional labor was exhausting. Managing multiple international relationships meant navigating different time zones, cultural expectations, and emotional needs simultaneously. John felt like a therapist, financial advisor, and boyfriend to women he'd never actually met. The breaking point came when he realized he was losing himself in these relationships. His own needs, feelings, and boundaries had become secondary to managing other people's emotions and expectations. He was giving everything and receiving manipulation in return. The day he deleted the apps, John felt something he hadn't experienced in months: emotional silence. No one needed anything from him. No one was testing his commitment. No one was measuring his love through his wallet. For the first time in over a year, he could just exist without performing, finding peace through strategic withdrawal. The transformation didn't happen overnight, but John noticed the first changes within a week of deleting the apps. His sleep improved immediately. No more lying awake, wondering if he'd missed a message from Thailand or Colombia. No more checking his phone at 3 a.m. because someone in a different time zone was having an emotional crisis. His bank account started recovering, but that was just the beginning. Without the constant $600 monthly drain of dating expenses, John redirected that money toward his own life. He upgraded his home gym, invested in a photography course he'd been postponing, started contributing more to retirement. But the psychological changes were more profound than the financial ones. John described it as emotional detox. For over a year, his nervous system had been in constant activation mode, managing multiple relationships, navigating cultural differences, responding to emotional emergencies that weren't actually his to solve. The silence was initially uncomfortable. After months of constant digital stimulation, solitude felt foreign. John had to relearn how to be alone without feeling lonely. He started small, cooking elaborate meals for himself, taking long walks without podcasts, sitting in his backyard without his phone. Science supports what John experienced. Chronic relationship stress elevates cortisol levels. This disrupts sleep, digestion, and brain function. When that stress disappears, your nervous system begins to reset. The hypervigilance fades. Mental clarity returns. John's career benefited immediately. Without the emotional drain of managing international relationships, he had more energy for complex projects at work. His focus improved. His creativity returned. Within 3 months, he received a promotion he'd been working toward for over a year. His friendships deepened as well. During his dating app phase, John had been emotionally unavailable to his male friends. Every conversation eventually circled back to his latest romantic drama. His friends had grown tired of providing free therapy for relationships that never existed. Once he stopped dating, John became present in his friendships again. He hosted game nights, joined weekend hiking groups, became the reliable person who showed up without emotional baggage or hidden agendas. The social pressure was real, though. Family dinners became minefields of well-meaning questions. Are you seeing anyone? You should try that new dating app. My coworker has a daughter who's single. John learned to deflect these conversations with humor and firm boundaries. His standard response became, "I'm taking a break from dating to focus on myself." Most people accepted this explanation, though some pushed harder. His mother worried he was becoming antisocial. His married friends projected their own relationship fears onto his single status. John realized something important. Other people's discomfort with his single status revealed more about their own relationships than his life choices. Happy couples didn't pressure him to date. Only people who were miserable in their own partnerships seemed threatened by his contentment alone. The most surprising discovery was how much he enjoyed his own company. During his relationship-seeking phase, solitude had felt like failure. Every Friday night alone was evidence that something was wrong with him. Now, Friday nights became his favorite part of the week. He developed rituals that brought him genuine joy. Saturday morning farmers market visits, Sunday afternoon reading in the park, weeknight cooking experiments with complex recipes. These activities weren't substitutes for companionship. They were intrinsically satisfying. John's mental health improved dramatically. The anxiety that had plagued him during his dating phase disappeared. No more obsessing over message response times. No more analyzing photos for hidden meanings. No more emotional roller coasters based on strangers' moods. His self-worth stabilized. Instead of measuring his value through other people's interest in him, he began evaluating himself through his own accomplishments and character development. He started reading philosophy, learning Spanish, training for a marathon. The peace wasn't just absence of drama, it was presence of purpose. John realized he'd been so focused on finding someone to share his life with that he'd forgotten to build a life worth sharing. Now, he was creating that life for himself first. Your action plan for opting out. If you're considering following John's path, here's a practical framework for stepping away from dating without losing yourself in the process. First, conduct a financial audit. Track every penny you've spent on dating in the last 6 months. Include app subscriptions, premium features, dates, travel, gifts, and hidden costs like new clothes or grooming expenses. Calculate the monthly average. Now imagine redirecting that money toward your personal goals. What becomes possible? Delete the apps ceremonially. Don't just hide them or deactivate your profiles. Completely delete your accounts and the applications. This creates psychological closure and prevents impulsive reactivation during lonely moments. Create a transition plan for your social energy. You've been investing emotional labor in potential romantic connections. That energy needs somewhere to go. Reconnect with neglected friendships. Join hobby groups. Volunteer for causes you care about. The goal is redirecting social needs toward relationships that don't require performance or payment. Develop what psychologists call solitude skills. Many people fear being alone because they never learn to enjoy their own company. Start with small experiments. Eat dinner without television or phone. Take walks without podcasts. Sit quietly for 10 minutes daily without entertainment. Build your tolerance for silence gradually. Establish firm boundaries around dating pressure. Prepare responses for family and friends who question your single status. I'm focusing on personal growth right now. I'm taking a break from dating to work on myself. I'm happy with my life as it is. Practice saying these phrases until they feel natural. Invest in your physical and mental health. Use the time and money you would have spent on dating to improve your actual life. Join a gym, start therapy, learn new skills, travel for yourself, not to meet someone. The goal is becoming the person you want to be, regardless of relationship status. Create new routines that bring genuine satisfaction. Replace the dopamine hits from dating apps with healthier reward systems. Morning workouts, evening reading, weekend projects, cooking elaborate meals. The key is finding activities that provide intrinsic satisfaction rather than external validation. Plan for emotional challenges. There will be lonely moments. Holiday seasons will feel different. Wedding invitations might trigger FOMO. Prepare for these experiences without panicking. Loneliness is temporary. Desperation leads to poor decisions. Set criteria for if and when you might consider dating again. This isn't about permanent celibacy. It's about intentional choice. What would need to change about your life or the dating landscape for you to reconsider? What boundaries would you maintain? What red flags would trigger immediate withdrawal? The goal isn't to become a hermit. It's to become someone who chooses solitude from strength rather than accepting poor treatment from desperation. You're not giving up on love. You're refusing to participate in systems that exploit your desire for connection. Remember, there's no timeline for this process. Some men take months to feel comfortable alone. Others need years. Some eventually return to dating with better boundaries. Others discover they prefer single life permanently. Both outcomes are valid. Your peace matters more than other people's expectations. Your financial security matters more than strangers' emotional needs. Your mental health matters more than societal pressure to couple up. John's story isn't about giving up on love. It's about refusing to accept manipulation as the price of companionship. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is walk away from people who don't appreciate what you bring to their lives. Conclusion: one life, live it your way. 6 months later, John's life looks completely different. He's financially stable, emotionally regulated, genuinely happy. His promotion came through. His friendships are stronger. His mental health is the best it's been in years. He's not bitter about dating or relationships. He's simply chosen peace over performance, authenticity over approval, self-respect over societal expectations. You have one life. You don't owe anyone a relationship. You don't owe anyone your financial resources. You don't owe anyone access to your emotional energy. Sometimes the most radical act is choosing yourself. Hit subscribe if this resonated with you, because there's more truth coming your way.